What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Good Behavior After Show. Tonight we're chasing the Tesla around, so stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, AfterBuzzers?
This is how crazy the show was. We're starting off with a Kanye craze.
Because Javier's crazy and Kanye's crazy. Do you see the correlation here?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Kanye isn't
Letty's
a
hot,
hired
she's hot.
killer.
Yes.
Tiana Taylor and
Tiana
Letty do
Taylor.
not look alike.
They
alike
need
at
to.
all.
Well, listen, we tried, and that's all that
Tiana
matters.
Taylor's always a yes, always. So
Never
she's the
question the
go-to.
Tiana.
Did you guys know that
question that.
Letty is British?
No, she has an accent?
She has that look. Or Australian. One of those like
She's some with an
colonies.
accent.
Yeah. Because I was watching the little promo. I was watching the
Britain's
promo.
a colony now.
Yo, we were one of the colonies, but without, Australia. Look, what I'm saying is she had an accent, and I was like, wow, I didn't know she had an accent. Like, that makes her even a better actress. But it also makes me question, can't we find people in America no more? Like, what happened?
Everybody low-key has an accent.
Yeah, everybody's.
I think that would have been cool if she had the accent in the show then.
But then she couldn't be from here.
Yeah.
Or
So?
be white trash from like
Alright, fine.
wherever she's from.
Anyway,
All right, let's hit them with the open. What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, Olivia Gabaree. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, @thereal_O_G.
hey guys, it's Maddie Makely, and you can find me on the gram and the tweet at Maddie_Makely.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. I'm Abigail Fraher, and you can find me on all social media at Abigail Fraher.
So I am Tehran, and I refuse to say gram or tweet. So that's
Why?
I just
He's
couldn't
hating.
tweet. No,
He's hating.
listen, I'm not hating. I just feel like if
He's
I
just a
say
grown man
gram and
and
tweet,
so-
I will get robbed. Even if I'm not in the hood, I just feel like I would rob me if I said gram and tweet.
So
It's okay, I
don't
own
hit
it
him
anyway.
up on the tweet.
So
You own
don't-
it.
Don't
You
hit,
own it.
Don't hit him up on the gram
No,
or the tweet is what he's trying
Find
to say.
me on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter at I am Tehran, and I'm all about good behavior.
Hey. Okay, so we open up the episode, and like I told you guys, we're on the run, and we're following the Tesla around the country, pretty much. Well, not around the country. Where did they start off? What state are we in at this very moment in the beginning? Do you guys remember?
We don't know. Look,
We don't know, but
we
their
know it's
goal is
far.
to
I thought it was
go-
for.
Doesn't matter.
Wherever it is, their goal is to go to Charleston.
Yeah.
That's the goal. And at first, we weren't even really sure.
Which is 5.5 hours away.
Yeah, it was just super far away, regardless. And I couldn't get over the fact that Letty is still mouthing off to this guy that she just watched kill 2 people.
Two,
See-
he killed the
3.
ex too. Don't forget the wife. She knows he killed the
okay,
wife.
yeah, so she knows he killed
I'm
more
proud
people.
of her though. Like I was really hoping that we would see this side of her this early, where she starts being dominant and taking over him like she deserves. I think she does. I didn't like seeing her be like a peasant to him. So
Well,
I'm
she's
glad
helpless
that
in the
peasant?
situation.
But she's not. But like yeah, she was a peasant the first 2 episodes.
Maddie, I have a question.
Peasant.
I have a question.
What?
Who hurt you? Like, just tell us. Just let us know, because like that's such an extreme
No,
word
I
to
know.
use. Like
Well,
she was in an extreme situation, and
Right.
she kind of took a back seat, and now she's not. It's not like she's taking the front seat. She's just being more mouthy. Like she's pushing
She's
the envelope to see
acclimating.
how far she can go.
But she's standing up for herself. Like even when he said shut up, she was like, "Don't tell me to shut up."
Yeah, but I think that was from a
she's
bad
finding
memory.
her
That seemed like it was like
independent woman.
something. That came from
Okay,
something.
I see
The
what
shut
you
up
mean.
thing was like
Her
an
mom
emotional.
always said it to her, right?
Yeah, it was something like that.
It
That was
hit a
like
nerve.
that was some daddy issue.
But when that was some daddy issue.
Mommy
But,
issue.
but when she starts standing up to him, he falls into it too, and he starts respecting her more. He said, "I'm sorry," after she said, "Don't talk to me." like that.
It was a sardonic "I'm sorry," and it was an explanation. And I'm sorry doesn't come with a justification. Like I'm sorry, but is no longer I'm sorry. He was putting it into perspective, which he did. And she doesn't want to leave. Like she wants to be there.
Yeah.
And I don't know
would
what it
agree.
is with white women and rain, which makes you fall in love. But
Makes us feel some
Right.
type of way.
maybe it's because black girls in their weave we just couldn't be in the rain like that. But you guys love rain and love. Like
hate
it's just
rain.
something. It's the Notebook feel. It's like
Probably subconsciously channeling the Notebook.
I felt that vibe though. Like I didn't feel their vibes until they were in the rain.
Yeah,
alone
and then
in the
I was
car.
like,
and then I was
oh.
like, is that where this is going
This
right
is
now?
popping
Just
off.
because they're in a car in the rain.
or when they were in Charleston, they were standing in the rain. Like have you people never heard of an umbrella? Like, why can't we have this conversation inside? But I don't know what it is. I'm being dead serious. And the second thing that popped in my head, and maybe this is the thing, is if they were black, I felt like they would have already been caught. But,
Oh my god.
but that's just, I can't be the only one that thought this. Come on, there are people out there that watch the show and think the same things. Like, that's what the after show is about. We're putting out thoughts and we're just throwing it against the wall and see what sticks.
I did think it was a little bizarre that they made it through so many obstacles.
And that, like, the tow truck just calmly was
and
like,
first of all, like, they're in this jazzy ass car, they're in a Tesla, and now I'm thinking, like, I really wouldn't want a Tesla, because how often are you going to come across charging stations, like, when you need them? I struggle to find
Right.
gas stations when I need
I was
them.
like, thank God I have a car that runs on gas.
You know, Teslas are amazing, and if you would like to sponsor us, we would love to have you. But the thing about Teslas are they're a city car. They're made for the city.
True.
And this is, now we're in the backwoods, right? And they weren't expecting to go to these lengths for the car that they were in. It was all unplanned. We were discussing that last week. So this week we see that it is an unplanned situation and we're going towards it. And they have to drive this Tesla all the way to Charleston.
I feel like they should have invested in looking at a better route, because a Tesla where they are stands out like a sore thumb, like automatically to anyone. So
They took the shortest route.
Okay, well, I think they should
'Cause
have.
they were in a
I think they
Tesla.
should have. But that didn't.
But it's still,
And they
it's
didn't
to
have-
drive 5
still,
hours.
they should. I think like they should have taken the extra time to just like really figure it out.
And
because
But remember, the phone wasn't working.
All right,
They
you know
tried
what?
that.
Well, I mean,
I
there's
just-
many
I don't
obstacles,
know.
and
There's
you
many
have to
obstacles,
think,
but,
like, how much time can you possibly take when you get 2 dead bodies?
Also,
in
yeah, are
your
you
truck?
really thinking that, like, calmly? Like, you have 2 dead bodies in
He
your trunk?
is.
Like,
He's a hitman. He's professional.
That's
And
his-
Yeah, but
actually,
he's
I
still
didn't like
thinking
how
about the
razzled he
timing.
got a couple times. He got
with
a
the
little
cop car?
razzled with the cop car. Like,
and when she saved him?
one thing, yeah, Letty
accident.
was the savior a couple times because Letty was quick on her feet with the pregnancy, the
Yeah.
faking the pregnancy in the car. Because you always know you can count on mother to mother connection, right? And she was just like, oh, the baby was kicking, and now I don't know if it is.
I think
Did
she.
you think that was a mother-to-mother connection, or do you think this woman was like, shit, they are literally going to sue me if they lose this baby? So she's like, go ahead. I don't
Well,
even
I
need to
think-
get
I
my
thought it was a
information.
mother
I
thing.
thought mother to mother because
Yeah.
I think when Letty saw the little kid like mouthing off out the window, something clicked for her, and she found a way to like finesse
See,
the
I don't-
situation.
I didn't think that.
Well, I mean, different perspectives.
Because she
It
was
could
so
be a-
adamant about getting their information and like giving her information to them, and then as soon as it was like, oh, this baby is not kicking anymore,
like
she's
that
like,
was-
go get to the hospital. Like, not like, here, take my information, go to the hospital. She was like,
I think it humanizes
know.
it more. Like, how it's hard. It was hard for the woman to relate to Javier because, I mean, we saw that he had people skills in like the previous episodes because he just became friends with these random men just to get what he wanted. But when it came to this woman, he was very like flustered and he didn't know how to react. So he was being himself, like bossy, controlling, and obviously he
I thought
had
was just
dead
looking
bodies.
sketchy. Like,
Yeah, he was being
looked
super sketchy.
He's a little misogynistic, Javier. Javier's a little.
And I feel like women feel threatened by him, and
Yeah.
she definitely felt threatened by him. That's why she kept pushing to like call the cops and everything.
well, they either like love him or they feel threatened. I feel like it's if he's in a
It takes a
comfortable
certain type of
situation,
woman.
right?
Yeah.
And like he gets like over dominatory.
That's
Over
not a word.
dominating.
We can make it happen.
when it's in when he's in those
over dominatory. Oh,
hate
okay.
you.
Yeah, no. When I played Scrabble, that was worth 352
you know
points.
how many words we use that aren't
That
actually
was-
words.
That's
I'm
awesome.
just saying. No,
No,
gonna-
but
all right,
I,
you know
but,
what?
but I would
use
agree
real
that
words.
they had that like mother instinct because she didn't care about the information once she found out that the woman was pregnant.
Yeah.
That Letty was pregnant, you know? Until she found that out, then she's like, go. Like, I'd rather have you save a baby than have you save my car.
That's what I thought. And if you observatize the over dominatory personification,
You just wait, I'm gonna get you back.
personification nation of Javier,
I can't. So
I feel like I agree with Maddie. I just feel like she did realize that there was it did humanize the whole thing, and it just made it and gave her like a quick perspective, like, okay, just go to the hospital.
like the
worth
level
it.
of importance for a child is so much more important than a car, and I think she realized
I'm not
that
saying
after.
it's not.
Yeah, but like I think that's when it clicked for the woman when Letty came out.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say?
No, because I was saying she thinks that the mom with the kids was worried about getting sued.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
who hurt you?
I'm gonna stick
You know
with
what I'm
it.
saying?
I'm
Like,
gonna stick with it.
No, I think the mom realized,
Okay.
yo, that's a mom, and now
No.
I'm gonna try to save a mom. I feel for the mom. I empathize. I sympathize. I patronifize. with the mom, and therefore.
I feel like it went from her because like she knew that the guy did not want to give the information out, so it went from her being in an argument with him to her having sympathy for Letty.
Exactly.
So I feel like the situation totally switched when Letty got into the picture.
And I think, if this moment says anything, it definitely says that they make a good team.
They do
because
make a good
they
team.
really
I will
need
agree
each
on
other to
that. I
balance
will agree with that.
Like they need
Make a
to
good
balance
team.
each other out.
They do make a good team, and it became more apparent at the end when the parole officer Christian called Letty, and they explained, and she was like, "I'm with this guy the philanthropist who works for a philanthropist," referring back to Javier's explanation for what he did, and then said to the effect of, "He doesn't let me use," and then Christian says, "Well, maybe you should keep him around."
Right.
And Letty went into thoughtful mode because
Thoughtful?
she understood.
She was thinking.
Thoughtful's actually
I
a
was
word.
like, I
Not
didn't think she was
like
that
thoughtful, like-
Not the millennial version
Not
of thoughtful.
THOT.
I was like, I didn't think she was so thoughty.
Okay. See, listen, I use words. Real words. So thoughtful as in considerate.
You were
as
like
in
so excited
She
when
had
you
an
said that.
epiphanal
Like
moment.
she never heard the word thoughtful. She's
know.
like, correctly.
Just said
I didn't think she was that thoughtful this episode.
Well,
But
she actually, you know what? There were a couple thoughty moments, and I'll tell you when. When she leaned over him to order, there
That
was
was a thoughty
definitely
moment.
sexual
that was a
tension.
thoughty moment?
That was just sexual tension.
I
It was.
didn't catch
It was.
that.
There was.
Because he
They
was,
had
like,
a lot of sexual tension in this.
Like he was
Yeah,
like
breathing in her
smelling
wig.
her and like all up in her
I
wig.
didn't
And
catch that.
he watched her put the wig on and felt that you could tell the tension, besides the whole nervousness of if the police are or if they're gonna run out of electricity, the police are gonna catch them, whatever. The sexual tension was the most tense situation throughout the episode. I just felt like when they were in the car and it started raining and it was dark, they definitely
Wait,
thought
I'm
about
sorry. Why don't you let
straddling Madeline.
everyone know what you thought about it? What
I'm
were you doing?
I'm just letting you know.
Show us.
There
it is. Let me
No,
see
I
with the
was-
facial expression and everything. Can we?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Can we see? Oh, are you
God.
nervous?
Oh my god.
Are you turning red?
Oh my god. I just
Finally.
I'm feeling embarrassed.
Finally.
I feel embarrassment right now.
We're gonna keep the shade on that side of
Fifth
the
grade
table.
boy.
It's not gonna reach over here.
Oh, it
But,
will. There's still time. There's a lot of show left right now. But yeah, there was like sexual tension between the two the whole time, and I
See,
felt
I didn't
like
catch any of it.
we didn't see that happen. You did a little.
No, I didn't. I thought she was honestly just trying to be super annoying to him, like
so cute.
like when she was. Aw.
That's so sweet and young.
But like when she was reaching over, I thought she was like, I just don't care what you think of me at this point. So if I'm gonna be annoying, like I don't care if you think that I'm being obnoxious.
I have a question. So let's say that you were in the car with a guy. Would you feel that comfort of reaching over their lap? Because listen, we all know what's there. It's his penis. And so as she reached over, it's not like it disappeared. Girls know what they're doing when it comes to like certain things. There's certain nuances where girls are very aware of their sexuality. And for us to like pretend that's not true is actually in a way being misogynistic as well. Like, oh, girls aren't in charge of their sexual power. Only men can bring it out. No, Letty was very aware of her sexual power over him. And she was using it to her advantage in subtle ways. And
I see what you're saying now, of course. But when we were watching it, I just didn't. Oops, I just didn't see it. I thought that she and him just have this level of comfort with each other now, where they can just be super annoying if they want to be, whenever they want to be. Maybe.
So you get comfortable with someone, you get annoying.
Well, yeah, no, that's actually a part of. I feel like that's a part of love.
It's like brother sister. Not that they act like a brother sister, but
They-
like
yeah,
I'm so
I don't know what kind of
comfortable
brothers and
with my
sisters
brother
you
that
know.
I'm purposely super annoying to him, or like my friend. Just you know, maybe you don't. I don't know.
No, I understand. I understand that level of when you're in an intimate relationship, you actually do kind of. It's like a cute way of getting under each other's skin because you have that level of comfort.
Like when I'm with my boyfriend, I literally am so annoying, like almost on purpose. Not annoying.
We just got a confession.
I'm not annoying.
Tim,
no.
Trevor, Brad, whatever your name is, it's one of those. It's a Tim, Trevor, Brad, Kevin situation. Whatever the situation is, now we know.
No, but I feel like it doesn't matter if I'm annoying because he's gonna love me anyway.
Oh,
so same thing with
Until
her.
he doesn't.
Until he does.
I said the beef is not coming on this side of the table.
Which, after your response to the sexual innuendo that Letty threw at the driver that was going to kidnap her, I think that's true until he doesn't. Because you were really offended when she was mentioning all the sexual acts
Well, yeah.
About
I
all
wasn't offended.
stuff
I was
on
just
her.
like,
She's a
No, like,
she
come
doesn't
on,
anything
Tiff.
about
She was
race.
going off.
she was
like,
going off. That's why I was
for
just like, dude,
TNT,
shit.
I was like,
uncomfortable.
wow.
Like I know I couldn't believe this is like real television right now.
They have to blur that.
Are you
No,
really?
they don't.
They didn't
shocked
blur it.
after our
It's not
MTV
like
shows?
we guessed it. It
I
was
know.
there. It was like they cut off the F word.
Yeah,
but other
that's
than
what I
that,
was gonna
that's
say.
what they stopped short of. This is risque TV. This isn't for the fan of heart, and
This
it's
is
not
late
for little
night.
kids. This is
Well, I think after is it after 9 you could start being like explicit?
actually those are all just FCC regulations based on television morality codes that they
Yeah.
put together themselves. Technically speaking, there is no real
There's no
true
laws.
federal regulation
They're
on
just
these
trying to be
things.
polite.
That
Yeah,
was-
it's just
That was just a little much for me.
I could
it
see
just,
I could see by your reaction watching it.
uncomfortable. I mean, it was
Really? You turned away and were
You
like,
were
oh my.
uncomfortable.
You were
I
like,
was just
you
like,
gasped.
oh my
You
God.
went, bought
Like-
a pearl necklace, put it on, and grasped it.
Pearl necklace.
Okay, stop ganging up on her. You
Yeah.
guys are shat on her.
I'm glad
like
you touched the
that.
double entendre.
I'm getting shot on.
You
I'm
definitely
getting
got
shat
shot
on.
on.
Not at
The
all.
shade has reached the side of the table,
It never-
and I
it
need
will
her to
never.
come to my defense.
Never.
Because I mean, be honest, were you completely comfortable with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, okay, just you know what?
Actually, it made me. Remember
continue
that.
this panel without me.
Remember that strength that you said you saw in Letty? It made me see
Yeah.
that strength again because she
was,
took
like,
control of that
threatening him.
situation in the Letty way that we saw in the first episode, where she's smooth and she even to a way she led the guy on
Mm-hmm.
and then was like, "I'm a boss ass bitch. Back the f up."
She like explained his fantasy and then told him it wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah, and
Okay.
with the
He
gun,
thought it was
and
gonna
pointed
happen,
the
right.
gun,
Got him
like-
with the blue balls.
and he was like,
And he wasn't even
no.
angry about it.
No, he was afraid. That
Right.
you want to talk about respect? Like the way she held the gun, he didn't. It was just so like, listen,
Keep trying.
where he understood if you move, if you touch my knee, I will blow you out of this car.
Yeah.
Like I will, and not in the way you're expecting, like in the real way.
I feel you.
Yeah. So I understood that your uncomfortableness with it, but I thought it showed her once again in control of her sexuality. Like I said, when it came to Javier, she's very aware of her sexual powers, especially over men.
I don't think I saw her being dominant with her sexual power to Javi this episode. I just didn't catch it. The other episodes I did, I just didn't for this
feel
one.
like, too-
So just to see her be that way to another old man that she just met, I was like, this is weird.
Well, because she knew exactly what he was thinking.
Yeah.
The second
She just
he
calls it
stopped.
out.
Okay.
And I think that like
give you that one.
for a while, that's really the only power she had over men was her sexual power.
Yeah,
So I think
and-
that's why she's so comfortable and like
That's probably what she relied on,
Right.
like for a good portion of her life, I guess, just because the situation, like the life that she made for herself, that was probably like the only way she could probably get what she wanted.
Okay. You guys
But fair to
turned me
say,
over.
I mean, aside from like having control sexually, I think that she really grounded Javier throughout this entire episode
agree.
because he was freaking out, thinking they were going to get caught, and I was kind of freaking out too because I didn't think that there was any way they were going to get this Tesla where it needed to be in a timely manner, because it's already rolling on the news that this couple is missing, so everyone's on the lookout. But she keeps them grounded.
I have a
Just lights her
question.
cig up at the gas station.
I have
keeping
a
it chill.
question. What did you guys think that they needed to go to Charleston for?
Before we found out what it was for?
Before we found out,
I have
'Cause
no
I thought
idea.
he had to sell the body parts or something.
Oh,
some
God.
weird.
Where's
weird-
your
I
head?
thought he,
Mind would
I
go
thought he was
there.
well because it's such
Offended
a
by the
grimy,
sex.
It's
By
such
trying to-
it's such a grimy murder show. I mean, how could you not think that he's like into some other stuff?
I thought
where
it was the next job was in Charleston.
the next job. But why
thought
would he have
that
to take the bodies
He
there?
had to get rid of the bodies in Charleston because of the distance. It was
Right.
5.5 hours. I thought that he had actually. I thought it could be possibly where the family was of the kid who got hit by the car, which is what sent him on this mission to begin
Oh,
with.
and he was delivering
And
the
he had
bodies.
delivering and burying it like somewhere or in some type of retribution, which is also an actual word. So it's like one of those things where I thought that's what it was. Well, that's what it was
see.
for.
I think it's just because he's revealed so much his satisfaction for what he does with killing people, and how his childhood fantasies of, oh, when I used to watch murder shows, I would think this kind of thing. So I thought a lot of the same stuff. I just thought that he would do something like just grimier, just because he
I don't think he's a grimy
I don't think he's grimy.
person.
I think he's intelligent.
He's extremely intelligent, extremely
like,
like even the way he handles things is very classy as far as it comes out for me. He doesn't look like the sell the
killer.
body parts to the Russian mob type. He just doesn't seem that way.
He's a step above that.
He's
I think that.
He's a criminal with a soul. And you'll see that there is actual honor amongst thieves if you know this class of people. So I felt like Javier fits into that category.
Okay. I'm just not there on Javier's level yet.
You're just not I don't think you're a Javier fan.
I'm not
You
a
aren't.
Javi fan. Sorry, Javi.
Okay.
Well, I think we're about to find out a lot about Javier.
He's gonna open up.
He is, because, well, we did find out why he went to Charleston. He went because he had a funeral home plug. So he knew someone that could cremate the bodies for him and just get rid of them all together. But
Someone he trusted.
yeah, someone he
doesn't trust a lot of
trusted,
people.
and he made it very clear that he trusted this person. And when we were finally introduced to this other person, it was clear that they had a past together and they were very comfortable around each other, because Javier's family has been contacting this man, trying to reach out to him.
It was very interesting, the brother situation, and Javier going, I called him 5 years ago when his friend was like, your brother called looking for you. We need to know more about what this situation is, because clearly there's something going on in the family.
Yep.
Javier's close to one brother because his first initial response was, oh, it was David, and then we find out it wasn't the brother he assumed that it was.
Yeah. And he was talking about the girls, and at first I thought he was talking like he had daughters, but he was talking about his sisters.
Yeah, his sisters and his nieces.
Yeah, Javier has a big family, and it was plugged in there for a reason, so maybe that will speak to why he's in the profession that he's in now.
Probably. I have a question. Not a question. Can we talk about the parole officer? Because I think he's literally obsessed with Letty.
Oh, he's so in love.
You know what? I actually saw this episode that he's actually one of those nice guys. Like, he had the first client who was into cockfighting, and he basically covered for him as well.
Yeah.
Like the parolee basically
Is that a thing
admitted
in West Hollywood, cockfighting?
Oh my God.
cockfighting in West Hollywood it's actually
I
not.
think that was a joke for the air.
It's not the thing. It's not penis fighting, Maddie. It's cockfighting with chicken fighting. Yes.
I don't really know.
They tend not to do that in cities. But it is something that happens in places like in Mexico. It's a big thing, and down south it's a big thing.
I didn't know they have chickens fighting.
Yeah, they have.
I only heard like dogs
It's
fighting.
roosters.
I'm confused.
Same shit.
That's what a cock is. A rooster.
Yes, I know. Jesus.
Rooster.
But the other guy that was in the parole officer's office, was he like addicted to watching cockfights?
He was addicted to gambling.
I can't.
He was addicted to gambling to cockfights.
I was like, why is this such a big? Why
I
is
can
this
do
a
this
parole
forever.
officer for?
Is he addicted to watching cockfights? No, there are people that do that.
Just 'cause he was watching them.
Wasn't there a football player that was into having dogs
Gambling.
fight or whatever?
Michael
No,
Vick,
great
and
thing.
that was Michael
dog
Vick.
fights?
It was dog fighting. It was his affiliation, his cousins and his friends. They took place in his house, and it's a big part of the culture down south. Cockfighting, dog fighting, this type of animalistic brutality that happens down south is unfortunately a reality. And people find themselves gambling on these things, and it seemed like the gentleman wasn't just addicted to watching the cocks fight, Maddie. He didn't just like seeing the cocks fight, he liked betting on the cocks fighting as well.
I was gonna
which
say he needs to see a
cock
therapist,
was gonna
not
win.
a parole officer for that.
But Christian comes off
It's
like he has a
illegal.
little bit of a
Yes.
therapy thing too.
I didn't know he was gambling, Abby. Sorry.
Thank you
My
for the
bad.
clarification.
Thank you for the clarification of cockfighting.
But he excused him as well. He excused his behavior, and it seems that Christian just comes off as a overly concerned person, and we see that maybe it comes from a problem. He messed up, and now he's finding this in acts of others, like his own. He's basically finding his own reformation in helping others reform.
Well, was he an
Also a real
alcoholic
word,
as well?
Reformation.
You know?
Okay, I'm just
I am
making sure.
educated.
I think you're brilliant.
For a minute,
Yeah. Do you guys know if Christian was a
No, he was
once an
buying.
alcoholic
He
as
was
well?
buying drugs from
A student.
A student.
As he was a professor.
As he was.
Oh,
And
I missed
Letty
that part.
threw it in his face
That he
because
messed up,
he
right.
tends to throw things in Letty's face.
Yeah. I mean, I would too. He's covering for her all the time, and now this guy is on his ass. His boss is literally checking up on him.
I don't blame him either. I mean, I feel like he.
And his
then he
boss is a
should-
punk.
his
Is a
boss
punk.
is-
Oh
like,
my God, his boss is a
white
loser.
privilege freaking punk who just, and we saw that part because when I first saw him, I was like, oh, I know who he is. He's one of those. He
Yeah.
voted Trump all the way, right? So I don't mind that, but he was like white privilege all the way. Then he did the black voice when he was talking about
And that shut him up.
that's when he was reenacting a conversation he had with Rashida about Christian coming in at 8 instead of at 7 because that's what Christian had said about covering for Letty. And he did the black girl voice and a couple of little
Black
gestures.
girl?
Black girl voice. There's a
Okay.
black girl voice,
Okay.
Maddie.
Sorry.
It's
She's like, her eyes are opening up today.
yeah.
Good morning.
I thought
Did
that
you grow
really
up in
shut him
Sesame
up, though.
Street? Like where did you grow up?
I think we need. It adds a little bit of like
Chill.
balance.
No,
to the
it's
panel.
good.
You know?
Definitely.
But that shut him up.
I like it.
It did shut him up because he realized like now he would get in more trouble for what he's doing because
Right.
what he did was overtly racist.
Right.
Yeah. So he swerve.
Swerve.
Until next time.
But I don't think he was trying to offend the parole officer. I think he was just trying to catch him on something.
Well, he
He's
wasn't
trying-
offending
He was
the
offending
parole
the
officer.
other one.
He was offending Rashida.
Rashida.
Yeah, Christian's
He's
not.
mocking.
Christian's not a black woman. So
Right.
no,
So no, he wasn't.
No, Christian's not.
Supposed to-
Thank you for the clarification.
you.
well, I wasn't sure if Maddie caught on because the voice was mocking Rashida, who happens to be a black woman, who now we've stereotyped in how she looks and acts because of the way he portrayed her and mimicked her speech pattern.
But I feel like he's only against Christian. Like he doesn't seem like.
Sure, but
it's still
understand
not
what you're
okay
saying.
to, like-
No. It's obviously not. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like it seems like he's out to only get Christian.
possibly, but we also see that he's out for self, and more importantly, that
Yeah.
he's a racist piece of shit.
Yes.
So because we see
Agreed.
this, well, now we have a better understanding of how much we knew he was a douche when he came in, but now we realize how much of a douche he actually is.
Agreed.
So he pushed the douche boundaries
Anyway.
in that speech. So that's what I'm saying. Like he came off as an even bigger douche, and he was already coming off. He was already coming off like DB all the way. He was coming in. He was like checking in, and I don't know if he's necessarily a supervisor. He's basically if on equal
Pure.
par, or maybe a slight ahead of
Come again?
Christian. Yeah, you guys are the worst. Listen, this is the worst panel I've ever been on. These people are so crazy.
That was
Crazy.
That's the guy who made the
Untrue.
joke about the pearl necklace.
Yeah.
We just come
Which
from
was
Sesame Street.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Why are you making fun of white girls?
Anyway,
for?
yeah.
You know, because
Why you hating?
because of your guys' uncle that was on the show today who decided to
God.
make fun of Rashida.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Moving
anyway,
on.
yeah, I really I think that Christian. I mean, although he looked out for the cockfighter,
Yes.
I think he definitely has the hots for Letty as well. And he may try to cover for her again, and will probably lose
He's
his job
gonna cover for her.
Yeah,
He's just gonna
until
keep
the
covering.
end of time. He's the only one that has her ass. As we saw, like every single person he called looking for her hadn't heard
I
from
didn't
her.
care. It was
And
really
they did
sad.
They just were like, "Oh, she's missing again."
And then
Nothing
that was baby
new.
daddy.
I,
Do you guys-
We don't know. We think.
I would assume it's baby daddy.
She did call a blackmail. We
I
do know she
I
has
was
a
just
black
gonna
kid.
say.
Do
We don't know why the kid's that black.
Right, we're a
Which
little
is the thing.
confused.
I mean, it's not. It's just interesting. It's you know what? I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's
hit up
to
the
me
casting
it's just
di-
an improbable
the casting
situation. But
directors.
good. I mean, great. I'm glad we're showing diversity on screen. I'm not going to ever be anything but an advocate for that. So
But do you guys think that the reason why he's so obsessed with Letty is because she's the only one that knows that he bought drugs as a parole officer from a student?
he
Maybe
wasn't a
she's
parole
the-
officer. He was
he
a
wasn't
professor.
That's why he's a
That's
parole
why
officer
he's
now.
a-
He can't be a professor.
Yeah.
Okay.
It ruined his.
But they
professor
let him
credibility.
be a
I was just
parole
gonna say
officer
that
Sure.
doesn't make sense.
Really?
That's
It's
like a
that
little
easy?
slip up. He probably bought weed.
We're not saying we don't know if he
not like
got
heroin.
a criminal charge for it, but he
don't know,
did.
right?
They could have just
Academia-
asked him
Like a
to leave
misdemeanor
or
or
something.
something.
Academia probably didn't
Yeah.
approve of his drug buying habits from students.
Right.
Usually they don't.
I thought he did it as a parole officer.
doesn't
so I
seem
was
like a
that's
thing.
bizarre.
No.
Why would? Okay. Well, sorry, Christian. I'm not very like in the.
You don't
Christian.
like, I don't think you like any of the guys
like
on the
the
show.
show?
I love the show. I
like Letty?
There's something I don't know. I don't think I like any of
What
them.
do you like?
I mean, they all just kind of suck.
Do you
likes
just
the
like hanging
knowledge
out
that
with
we're
us
dropping.
and
Yeah,
once
it's only
watching
you
the
guys.
show?
It's just you guys. I only come here to watch the show
That's
and hang out
awesome.
with you guys.
I like the show.
But I don't know. I love the show. I just don't like them as people.
Gotcha.
I think their characters make the show good. Obviously, I don't like them though as people.
Do you
If
not
if
empathize
came-
with the characters? Is that what it is? Maybe
Yeah.
you're so far removed from this kind of world that you don't. I'm serious that you don't have any empathy for the characters. Like you
I
cannot
don't.
relate to any of them because
No.
you just haven't had this situation. Like for example, Letty's relationship with her mom is so strained, and I feel like the mom has become a good mom to Letty's son.
Right,
A
but she
mom that she
wasn't.
never was to Letty.
I agree. Second
Because the mom is
chance.
coming off young. Like she's still kind of young, and Letty's like their age. It looks like she had Letty when she was like 15.
Yeah.
And so Letty maybe was more of a chore than a child, and now we see her also finding her reformation within being a mother figure for
Exactly.
the son.
And sorry to cut you off.
No, it's fine.
But the way she treated Letty,
Yeah.
like as a mother, probably contributed to where Letty is in her life right now.
I was just gonna say she's so cold. I've never seen a woman so cold to her daughter in my whole life, like ever. Like even on screen, like she's bizarre. Whenever her daughter is getting brought up in any conversation, like even
She
when the
hates
parole
her.
officer, she hates her. She literally hates her daughter.
I
Like,
think
just
she
it's
also
bizarre.
blames herself somewhere in there
She
for
probably
that, and I
feels
think that that's
guilty.
probably part of the reason.
See, I don't see that. I don't see anywhere where she because if she was blaming herself for any part of it, then I don't know. She's just bizarre when it comes to her
Some
daughter.
people all
She is
often-
You know how you
fearless.
take out what you feel about
Yeah, they
yourself on other
project.
people? Thank you.
It's
You
called
know, since I
projection.
don't have I need
Yeah,
thesaurus.
but-
Can you
Vocabulary.
get me one of those?
I got you.
But I didn't think it'd be the
I'll be your
person that she
thesaurus.
like basically screwed over like her life for. I don't know. Because I think you're right. I think she probably had her at a young age and like didn't raise her right at all. But what's motivating her to be a good grandma or mom to her son now?
Because she fucked up with her daughter. I did.
Are we allowed to say that word?
You know, whether we can or not, this show
Yeah.
brings it out in us because
Yeah.
the show really is really full of tense situations, and the characters
I think that's why I don't
do
like
bring
them.
out a lot of angst. And I can understand because I really think that you personally in your life are far removed from this
Mm-hmm.
life and lifestyle where maybe, have you ever even committed a crime in your life? No. You've never been arrested? Do you know anyone that's been
No,
arrested?
but have you guys though? I know you haven't.
I haven't been
have you?
arrested before.
Oh well.
All right, let's
Shit.
not bring
Listen,
this out on
I know.
air.
I found out the company that Abigail keeps now. I think
Okay,
she's
look,
been arrested.
here's the bottom line. I'm pretty sure we're not murderers, and I'm pretty sure
No.
we're good people. I'm pretty sure we're not meth heads. So I guess any part of that aspect that
It's just
goes
having
into that
empathy, though,
category
for-
and goes into that empty-heartedness of the characters in the show, I just can't connect with on that level yet. Do I think they make a great show? Yes, it's awesome. I just can't connect with one character in the show whatsoever at all, which makes me dislike them as characters.
Do you have any family members in jail?
No. Sorry.
No. You shouldn't be sorry. You know
No,
what?
it's
That's
nothing to be sorry
actually
about. That's
amazing.
awesome,
Good
but-
for like. I'm not upset that you don't. There's nothing more real about being a criminal than there is about being an amazingly good citizen and far removed from it all. But there is something to be said about someone who is more familiar with this kind of life. So if you're more familiar with it, whether it's because you were thrown into it or because you have family members that are similar, it doesn't have to be necessarily killers, but it could be drug dealing or whatever it is, right? If you have this connection or even understanding, then maybe you're just more empathetic. Plus, there is something seductive about the criminal element that we've always seen. Like we've seen it throughout time with movies like Scarface. Scarface is by all aspects a villain, but it's one of the most beloved villain of all times, where we celebrate him rather than vilify him. So it's just an interesting perspective, and you have a different background, different perspective on these things, and so I can understand the lack of empathy that you have towards these characters.
I would agree.
Mic drop.
I just spent my
Bars.
bars.
Catch me on
I just
SoundCloud.
think I guess there's just a part of me also that every single one of them has gotten themselves into this situation. And I think Javi even mentioned that in the episode, and they kind of start blaming each other a little bit when he's like, well, I saved you, and she goes on that tangent about, well, oh, thank you for saving me, and you are my Prince Charming, even though he's basically kidnapping her. So it just goes back and forth, and really they did all bring themselves into their own situation that they're in right now.
Well, and at the end, they're bringing themselves out of the situation.
Yes,
they torch the car, the bodies are cremated, and they're separating, but in reality, how far can you really go? You don't have a home, you're in the middle of Charleston.
Yeah.
He does let her go, but I think he lets her go knowing she's no place to go.
I mean, he even says, do you need a ride?
Yeah,
Like, he's like,
can I help you?
Yeah.
And she realizes he's like the only person she can really like confide in like or feel comfortable
super
with.
upsetting.
Yeah.
There's nowhere
He's not
she can turn
judging
except to
her.
her kidnapper.
Even with Christian, she acts, but with him, I feel like that's the real Letty.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, she can actually be herself, and she's so used to being a persona, just wearing all these different masks and acting for everyone, becoming the person who she was in the driver's car, becoming the person she was when the mother was trying to call the police and the insurance. She's a different person in every scene until it comes down to Javier. When it comes to Javier. And it's just interesting because I've been watching. Have you guys seen Seeso? Have you guys been on Seeso lately?
Well, I've heard a lot about Seeso lately, especially
Tell
around
us about
here.
Well, Seeso's like it's a website you can go to, right? And it has all these original programming and content. And I watch a lot of things, and I feel like I don't know why tonight's episode, because it was like it had a couple really funny parts.
Yeah.
Letty made a joke, and it was a joke that I watched Saturday Night Live on Seeso, and I also watched Wyatt Cenac's show Night Train on Seeso, and it just was like it reminisced on that. So Seeso's like it's like an amazing.
It's like for comedy?
Exactly, it's for comedy. It has a lot of original comedy content. Like, as a comedian, everyone knows about Seeso because they're putting out like 12 specials in 12 weeks, and it's only like $3.99.
$3.99.
Yeah, it's only $3.99, but the best part is for the first 2 months you can get it free if you use like
2 months?
What is it, Podcast One or something?
Yeah,
That's
I
the
believe
code.
if you can use Podcast One when you sign up, and you'll get a couple months free.
Yeah, so it's like it reminded me of Seeso because, first of all, this show Good Behavior is so tense that sometimes you need comedy, but there are comedic moments throughout the show, and I feel like it's a nod towards these comedy writers that I've just I'm a fan of. I'm a fan of Seeso, so.
Well, I guess after watching something this heavy, I feel like I want to go home and watch
and
something like that'll make me laugh and chill out, you know?
SEESO. Just in case.
.com.
Because you might not know how to spell it, Maddie, Abigail.
Because Abby's having a little bit
Just Olivia.
of trouble with her vocabulary
I
tonight.
am. I'm sorry, guys.
So that's
long day.
SEESO.com, and we can use the code podcast1. Perfect.
2 months for free, like totally free. It's awesome.
What is
The
for
plug.
free these days? Thanks for the plug. Are we going to see you
plug.
on Seeso?
You never know. You have to watch to find out.
All right, guys. Do you have any final predictions for the following episode? Or the next episode? What's gonna happen with Javi and Letty?
I think they're gonna end up back together.
Of course.
I want to find obviously, but I want to find out more about this baby daddy because I don't even know if he knows he has a kid.
It seems like
That's
he
interesting.
didn't. It seems like he had no
That's-
idea
yeah.
because
And it seems like his mind was like, do you notice like when that girl called like, babe, I thought you were meditating
Yeah.
or whatever. Like you can tell he's thinking about like
he was
her,
like,
and you know he's gonna
He's got
try
a whole new life now.
right, and he's gonna try and like touch base with her, and then he's gonna find out he has
Yeah,
a
he'll probably
kid, and
reach
I don't
out
know.
to her.
I'm excited to see
yeah,
that.
I definitely got the
relationship.
vibe that he has no idea he has
Yeah.
a child.
Can we talk about how Letty ends up with like good-looking men? Like, that's like her thing, huh?
She's
like
hot.
Javier. Like,
Letty's so
listen, have
hot.
you seen Killers? They're usually not good looking. Javier, supermodel. This is a GQ model killer. Then she has one black boyfriend, and this one black boyfriend just finished working
Fine
out
as
and was
hell.
meditating. And was like wearing. First of all, no guy wears just shorts in the home. You know what I'm saying? Like shorts. Like he was wearing shorts and a cutoff, and was like lounging in the chair, like flexing his arm. Like okay, Letty.
Do I send some?
I know.
know,
What's up with
right?
that?
I mean, nothing.
Do you guys
Nothing.
normally wear their robes in the home
Yeah,
with their shorts?
I wear my bathrobe everywhere I go. I'm so comfortable. I'll never be as beautiful as any one of you, but I'll always be very comfortable.
I That's, you know.
And I'll always be
It's a
way
good
more
trade-off.
intelligent, which is an amazing thing. So it's just one of those things.
I mean,
Shade
think
room.
what you want.
Letty's hot though. I mean, I'm not surprised she gets these guys, and she's slick. She carries herself so nicely.
I think because her attitude is
Yeah.
so like boss.
It's a turn on,
it
her
is.
attitude, because I don't think she's that hot
I think she's
physically.
really.
No.
I think
Sometimes
she
she is, sometimes she's not. She's actually better looking when she's acting or
Like somebody
portraying
else.
one of the characters.
Like
yeah,
when
with
she's
the
a
wigs
blonde,
and
I
this
think
and
she
that.
was the best looking as the blonde
I
with the
prefer
straight hair.
brunettes, and I can see why you like blondes.
I just,
Sounds projecting. Remember the
ironic.
projecting?
I just said I thought she looked best with the blonde straight
I could
hair.
just see any guy being attracted to Letty, especially the way she does carry herself. So I don't know. I'm not that
She's a
surprised by it.
boss.
She's a boss.
Yeah, but she doesn't wear a beanie.
Beanie life.
She's not an
In
OG,
life,
she's
she-
just a boss.
She's not an OG.
The OGs
She's not a real
wear
OG. Like the
beanie.
real OG.
That's right.
That's right.
So my prediction
That
is
way.
next week, Javier and Letty get it in. That is my prediction.
Again.
No, well,
Again.
they did it this week, right? They
Well,
did
because they
this
didn't
week.
have an opportunity.
Not
Oh,
that
they
we
had.
saw.
They were
in the back of a Tesla.
They could have. Listen, they could have.
You make it work.
It happens, okay. But next week, I feel like that spark is going to ignite again over something. It's interesting that they seem to ignite the most when they're impassioned on different sides. So it's like opposites attract. But this isn't even a case of opposites. It's two pieces of a whole. I feel like Javier brings something to the table. Letty brings something to the table. We all agreed they make really good partners. And when it comes to this, it's like the yin and the yang. She's the calm to his storm. He's
so
the sobriety.
poetic.
Well, I think it is.
Are you sure
It's
you're
like-
not the one watching The Notebook?
Yo, listen, I didn't cry.
I think he's
Moment of
gonna have
silence.
to kill the parole officer at some point.
Oh,
No,
God.
Christian's in it for the long haul.
Yeah,
I like
think
Christian.
He's a strong character.
I like Christian the most
You
out of
finally
anyone.
like Christian?
Well,
Thank
I like him the
goodness.
most out of anyone, but I think he's gonna have to die.
Yo, I've never listen. I'm never hanging out with you. You're like for
He's
someone
got
who's
to
not a
go.
criminal, you are the worst human being ever.
Right?
Yeah, I thought he was gonna cut up the bodies and sell them. And sell them?
to die.
He's gonna have to go at some.
Okay.
Just wait. I think he's gonna have to go at some point. You asked for my
Okay.
prediction.
Okay.
Well, we know Maddie's prediction. Are you guys ready?
What's yours?
I don't really have a prediction. I think. Oh, I guess they'll get it in.
You're just gonna piggyback off my prediction?
Yeah.
Sex.
I mean,
it always
there's
happens.
No,
nowhere
but it's
for
not
Letty
just sex.
to go.
It's the romance.
It's the what?
It's the romance. Yo, no, I didn't even look.
Tongue out.
Listen, what I'm saying is the prediction is it's gonna ignite that passion that they have for each other.
Yeah.
It's actually more than just sex. They've
It
already
is.
gotten the sex part out. There's
Right.
obviously an attraction, but now they're gonna find an emotional attraction to one another where they actually have mutual respect. And I've seen that mutual respect happen. Javier was very impressed with Letty.
He was, with the
when
pregnancy.
the pregnancy
Yeah.
thing, exactly. But then Letty loves to push the envelope. She pushed the ludicrous button, which almost ruined it again. Like
Right.
she loves pushing that and justifying it. But they love getting
The
under
back
each
and
other's
forth
skin.
too, I think, is like entertaining.
It
for
is-
them.
And she's not gonna let him have it easy though. She's gonna make.
She already has let him
has to
have
work.
it.
Yes, I know, but again,
Twice.
because she can't be like, "Oh my God, you're my kidnapper. Let me just give it up to you."
Yeah, only Beauty and the Beast does that work. If
That
it's
first
Disney, it's
time-
nice. But when it's good behavior, it's not.
That first time was because she
suppose.
had to.
She did not have to.
She had to get to. She had to.
Okay.
To get.
You're never
find-
allowed around my daughter.
To warn. She had to.
You
to,
are the worst person I've ever met in my life.
to warn that wife in the 1st place, Daphne, I think her name is. She had to.
No.
She had.
Yeah,
Okay, whatever.
no, she had to. No, listen, I understand.
You know what?
She had to. She had to. No, 100%.
I think Christian's gonna die.
Okay. I think we've got this.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we know Maddie's prediction. You heard our prediction. Please comment comment on our YouTube, comment on our podcast. Let us know what you think or predictions for next week. You guys ready to wrap this one?
We are. Where
can we find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram and the tweet at @thereal_O_G.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Tune in next week as well. I'm Maddie Makely. You can find me on all my socials, the tweet, and the gram at Maddie_Makely.
I'm Abigail Fraher, and I'm going to keep it simple. You can find me on all social media at Abigail Fraher.
And make sure to find me at I am Tehran, IAMTEHRAN. If you don't know how to spell Tehran, just watch CNN.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.